Ego Forensics is back. The Teofimo Excuses Part 2 of the remix explored. You don't want to miss Ego Forensics. I assure you. Stay tuned to this video. We work it. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. No time to waste. Throw a like on the video if you could. It goes a long way when you guys do that. Part 2 of the video. I strongly advise, especially if you're new to the channel, that you watch part 1 of this video. I dropped it earlier today. You should be able to find it in my last 5 videos or so. And it's about Teofimo Lopez. So long story short, again, check that video. But to recap, basically this Dr. Linda Dahl seen Teofimo allegedly after the fight with Kambosos, obviously an L. Teofimo lost the fight. And it says these shocking claims that Teofimo nearly came, he could have died and, near death experience and all this type of stuff. It says he could have died for sure. How he breathed, I can't even explain to you. It's like somebody tied a 300-pound set of weights around his chest, like his neck and chest were in a vice. And I'm like, what? And it says, I looked at the scan when I saw him on Monday. I said, thank God you're alive. So it sounds like super dramatic. He's lucky he's not dead. I mean, he's really lucky. So it sounds like some next level stuff. The air was surrounding his chest and walls and his heart and his neck and places where air is not supposed to be. Whoom, whoom, whoom. Again, check part 1 of the video. So, and he's posting this picture and he's like, has a respirator. We know Teofimo has had asthma, in the back. But the thing is this, the most dangerous thing is the camera and the microphone and the internet. The internet is a powerful thing. And it's just weird because it sounds like damage control. And I'm not saying he has nothing, but you guys be the judge of it in the comment section. We know he has asthma, but it just is no matter what, it looks like damage control. Even the fact that even if this was true, the fact that you put it out, it's to the point you lost all your belts. It's not going to get turned over, like overturned into a no contest. You lost to the better fighter. You talked smack, said you were going to knock him out 1 round. Why do all of these things if you had all this going on in the background? But for me, I'm not going to just listen to something and not interpret what you're saying. So this is from Mark Kriegel, who works with ESPN. And the reason why it seems like damage control is because he wrote this article talking to this doctor, and this randomly comes out when Devin Haney's about to fight in Gervonta Davis, and it sounds really radical, like he almost lost his life. Like, we know boxers stepping in the ring, you're taking that maximum risk in general, and God forbid we don't want to see these things happen. But all of this, the timing and everything. But upon further review, Ego Stradamus Forensic Files, let's talk about it. It says, doctor says Teo is lucky he is not DEAD after boxer found to have air in his chest, right? And it's, again, the quotes that I read earlier. But upon further review, you look at the doctor who claimed this, right? And I'll highlight it. We'll do pink. Dr. Lynn Dahl, otolaryngologist, ENT. Now, full disclosure, I am a YouTuber. I am not a doctor, but I want to explore some topics in this video. Dr. Linda Dahl, otolaryngologist, ENT. ENT stands for ear, nose, and throat. That much I know, right? So I'm thinking about it more and more. I'm like, man, this just sounds crazy. And stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm going to show you guys something. You went to a ear, nose, and throat doctor to diagnosis, and what they're saying is the boldest, like, oh man, T.O. is near death, basically. So I'm like, why wouldn't you go to somebody who is, because they're saying that Teofimo has pneumomediastinum, right? Let me pull it up for you guys. We'll look it up together. So pneumomediastinum, also known as blah, 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 is a condition in which air is present in the mediastinum, the space between the chest and the two lungs. This can be caused by traumatic injury or in association with pneumothorax or other diseases, right? So to me, again, I'm not the smartest brother in the world. I'm not a doctor. It seems weird that you're going to an ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor instead of somebody who specializes in pulmonary medicine, right? So here's what pulmonary means in medical terms. The word pulmonary is pertaining to the lungs. It is derived from the Latin root word pulmo, which means lungs. If someone has pulmonary disease, this means they have a lung disease and it may affect their ability to breathe. To my knowledge, see, this is what people have to understand when it comes to medicine and doctors and science. There are different fields that specialize in a certain thing. Like, let's say an optometrist. Optometry, optics, eyes, that's an eye doctor. But not all eye doctors are rated equally, because some are basic eye doctors. Like, you got computer strain from dry eyes. They're going to prescribe. That's more probably an optometrist, get you some glasses, whatever. But then you have ophthalmologists who they specialize in different things. Like, probably most likely Errol Spence. I could pull it up. Errol Spence, because he had a retinal tear and needed surgery, he probably went to an ophthalmologist, eye injury doctor. I can pull it up. So the point I'm making, look, by an ophthalmologist, Dr. Thomas F. Kelly, boom. So that's what I'm saying. An optometrist is an eye doctor, and so is an ophthalmologist, but their criteria of what they usually are seen for are different. If you need, like, Errol Spence is a multi-million-dollar fighter and he has a retinal tear, and this is the difference between blindness and vision. So he's probably going to a specialist, someone who's special, like maybe it requires more schooling or whatever, more education on the situation. That's a specialist. So you have to understand that there's people who have you ever been to a doctor, right? You go to a doctor and they could give you basic things. Like, for example, my primary care doctor, or if you go to like an ER and you have a rash, they can prescribe something that they know off the top of their head. But that's going to be different from a dermatologist. A dermatologist is going to be probably more intense, and they'll find out if you have allergy. They specialize in skin and rashes and stuff like that, if you guys understand the concept that I'm declaring. So to me, the fact that he went to a ENT, a ear, nose, and throat doctor, that seems a little bit weird, as opposed to if they really suspect you of having pneumomediastinum, going to somebody in the pulmonary science, because I think that's more specific to the lungs and his breathing. An ENT, like when people have sinusitis, or let's say Adele, a singer like Adele, if she loses her voice on tour, that's when you would go see an ENT in the specialization of otolaryngology, because otolaryngology is like a laryngologist, and they talk about your voice box and, you know, your larynx and things like that. So again, if a singer like Adele had a voice strain, I think that's when you would pretty much see an otolaryngologist. But Teofimo went to an otolaryngologist, ear, nose, and throat doctor, and the doctor is saying like, oh, he's almost dead. And to be honest, I think that's more of an assessment or diagnostic or diagnosis or whatever you want to call it, that a pulmonary doctor would probably want to make that call. So this just looks like damage control at its finest. And just to give you guys some more, I pulled this up for you guys. Otolaryngology is a medical specialty which focuses on ears, nose, and throat, henceforth ENT, as I said. It is also called otolaryngology, blah, 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 neck surgery. Let's see if it gets to what they specialize in. So again, when it's different doctors delve deeper into, like, some may study the same body parts or whatnot, and some deep dive a lot deeper, and they're specialists in one specific, like lung. And I guess my question is this, and maybe if we have any doctors who watch the channel, you would tell me if you would go to see an otolaryngologist over a pulmonologist in this occurrence to diagnose pneumomediastinum, because that doesn't really make sense to me. And especially to have the otolaryngologist who is not, their dedicated specialty is not lungs and the chest, which I would assume pneumomediastinum is going to affect more closely than what an ENT would know. It just seems weird that they're making these concerns or these they're making these diagnostics and putting it in print. Because again, I'm sure you guys have all been to a doctor where you go to a doctor and the doctor, they don't all the way special. Like, let's say you had arrhythmia, you had some kind of atrial fibrillation or something, right? And you needed, your primary doctor is not going to know more about the heart than a cardiologist. Perfect example. You see what I'm saying? So if you have AFib or something like that, and your heart is palpitating, your primary care doctor could probably do so much, but most likely that hospital would they would send and put out a referral for you to speak to a cardiologist. So this is highly confusing in the Teofimo situation. Why a ear, nose, and throat doctor is making the claim rather than him going to, he's a celebrity, you know, he made millions in his fights, his last 2 fights, and you're going to an ENT, which to me, from my understanding, again, I'm not a doctor, they specialize more in like sinusitis, like maybe the early signs of throat cancer, looking in your ears, you know, with an otoscope or whatever, and seeing if your ears are functioning properly, if you can hear, if they're responsive, things like that. So it just seems weird that that person put out this claim, right? It says if you have a health problem with your head or neck, your doctor might recommend seeing an otolaryngologist. That's someone who treats issues in your ear, nose, and throat, right? And we already went over it. Pneumomediastinum is not necessarily something wrong with your throat, like, oh, I'm a singer and I bled my voice out singing and it's raspy, scratchy, or I got something wrong with my throat, strep throat or something, right? They're called ENTs for short, blah, blah, blah. Highly concerning. You guys be the judge. But needless to say, as I said in my last video, Teofimo, it all looks bad no matter what, because you let a 6'9" behemoth punch you in the stomach. So no matter if we're talking a pulmonologist or otolaryngologist or any other doctor, I'm pretty sure in training camp, if you have asthma already, they're not going to tell you to let somebody way bigger than you punch you in the stomach, even if you're braced for it, just because to do a video. This is pointless, like I said in the beginning. So either way, I still think this makes Teofimo look bad. In addition, he said Wilder was being a bitch and making excuses, and now he's, after claiming victory, him and his dad, he's posting these pictures for sympathy, which looks like damage control. And you know, I gotta hit y'all with that good stuff. Boom. Yeah. What you are looking at is Teofimo Lopez. This is surveillance footage sent to me and my source will forever be nameless. You know, we're not going to name those sources, but there's Teofimo smoking hookah, as you guys could see. So from getting punched in the stomach by a heavyweight to smoking hookah, and now you're complaining about trapped air in your lungs, which is why ESPN and Teofimo's team is now claiming, which it still doesn't answer the question. Teofimo said he won the fight. Teofimo said he won the fight. So you said you won 10 rounds to 2, 11 rounds to 2, whatever he said, by a wide margin. Either you won the fight or you lost the fight because you were so sick. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. So this whole situation is looking really bad to me. But nonetheless, whether we're talking about a pulmonologist or ophthalmologist or whoever, I'm pretty sure an otolaryngologist or whoever will not tell you to let a guy punch you in the stomach and smoke hookah. Boom. They're saying he has pneumomediastinum. So keep in mind, Teofimo has had a history with bad asthma. Google, simple Google. Can smoking hookah cause shortness of breath? Patients should follow up to identify the development of any further complications. When chest pains and shortness of breath develop after hookah smoking, the presence of pneumomediastinum should be considered. So, ironically enough, the guy has asthma, and the same thing that they're saying that he had, and he's lucky to be alive because he has pneumomediastinum, right? That's what the otolaryngologist said. He had pneumomediastinum. Where does it say it, right? And he's posting the doctor's note and all this, right? Look, it says he has pneumomediastinum right there. Ironically enough, these are one of the adverse effects for anybody smoking hookah. This is a potential. So can we take away from George Kambosos' victory because allegedly Teofimo has pneumomediastinum and that should be considered if you smoke? So I'm not convinced. You're getting punched in the stomach. They're saying hookah couldn't induce pneumomediastinum, especially, I don't even have to be a doctor. I don't have to be a pulmonologist to understand this. I don't smoke, so I can say this. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke Black and Milds. I don't smoke hookah. I don't smoke nothing. He's a professional athlete with asthma, which is well documented. Other people like Cannon Briggs have asthma, so, you know, that's no biggie. And he's out here smoking hookah. So maybe it wasn't the Kambosos fight. Maybe being weight drained, being in camp, going to Canelo fights and smoking hookah, maybe that's why you got pneumomediastinum. Checkmate. You tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.